Let the show begin. Okay, we're back, folks. Episode 172 of This World Blows with your host, me. As you can see, well, I guess if you're listening, you can't see, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see we have this beautiful new set made out of cardboard and $5 tinsel. And the reason I've chosen to go this route with the set is really to represent you guys, the audience, is really to point out, it's kind of a reflection of you guys and how much you support or don't support me. So, I'm just trying to be real here. This is a show this show's been out for almost, maybe it's been 3 years, maybe it's been more than 3 years. I'm bad with time. And we have about 15 consistent listeners. So, like I said, this really represents you guys, this wall of tinsel. So, if the listenership, if the viewership starts to increase, then, maybe we'll start getting a better set. Maybe we'll treat it, I'm going to treat it how you treat me, basically, okay, guys? This is on you entirely. But we are back, we're trying to revamp, we get this visual element now, okay? Now that I'm 39 years old, it's time to add the visual element to my podcast. Is the kind of conversations I would be having at dinner with my family if they loved me. But they don't. So at dinner, they just refuse to talk about my podcast, which is ridiculous. So what's going on lately? Let's just talk about this, guys. I watched Gladiator 2, and it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. I think it's obviously not meant to be a comedy, but it is very funny in all levels, okay, guys? Now, I'm not saying go out and watch it. It's not really worth seeing, but it made me laugh through the whole movie theater I was in was laughing, and that's not a joke. The entire movie theater was laughing because everyone could see the absurdity of this film. My favorite, let's just start with the beginning. The opening credits of Gladiator 2, it shows Gladiator as the title, and then it spreads the L into two. It spreads the I into two I's, meaning two, but so it spreads the middle of the word. So it says Glad-to-ator. That immediately everyone was laughing, going like, "Is this a joke? Like, what are we enduring here?" And it was just, it was hilarious. It was a very, very funny movie. Denzel Washington refused to drop his Bronx accent, and he kept saying like "water" and gladiators. I'm gonna get some more gladiators up in here. It was very funny there, it seemed like it was also influenced by the modern idea of like meathead epigenetics. This idea of that like you remember things from someone else's, from your ancestors specifically. Like there's a scene in the movie where he picks up the dirt in the same Coliseum that his father did. He doesn't know this is his father. Also, that's the whole thing of the movie is that guess what? Gladiator 2, your dad was Gladiator 1. It's crazy. But he picks up dust like Russell Crowe does, I guess, in the first one, which I don't even really remember. I don't remember any of these movies, but he picks up dust and sniffs it, and they show flashbacks of Russell Crowe doing it, his dad doing it, as if genetically speaking, you would know to sniff this dirt like your dad did one time before he was killed. It's hilarious, this idea. It's just, me and my brother were just talking about Cloud Atlas, that movie. It was doing the same thing. I hate when movies and things portray that you would genetically look the exact same as someone else 5,000 years in the future, but you'd be partially Chinese. But you'd still be the exact same. You'd still be the exact same features, but Chinese. It doesn't make sense. It's hilarious, like movie portrayal of like when they try to cover long distances of time, and they're like, we'll have one actor play the same guy through thousands of years because genetically your face would kind of just stay the same, right? You'd have red hair but the same face. You'd have black hair but the same face. You'd be a caveman, same face. And then in the future, it's so embarrassing and so movie-esque. And Tom Hanks was in Cloud Atlas, is doing a new, same problem kind of movie called Here, where it's the same thing. It's traveling through all of time. And Tom Hanks, they de-age him to be a child, and then he gets to play himself now, and then as a 98-year-old. It's the same thing. It's just like, you guys, we got to stop this. We got to stop this, okay? We got to stop making movies. We got to be done with it. They've made them. There's enough movies. This is what I say about pornography as well. How could they make more? We have more than anyone could ever watch. Now I just caught myself. I was like, is this something Joe Rogan has said? And I don't like that. I don't like that. I might have just thought I thought of a joke, and maybe it's something Joe Rogan has said on his podcast. So if that's the case, guys, I'm very sorry. Okay, let's move on from the epigenetic gladiator. Okay, check this out. So the other day I fell down the maybe it's because of Gladiator. Maybe it was the Tigers. I don't know. Something, but somehow I got sucked down a Siegfried and Roy tunnel, rabbit hole, as it were. And the only thing I enjoy about my age of 39 is I grew up around a lot of sensational ideas that I really only learned through like The Simpsons and like cultural references, but I never knew the actual source material. So it's kind of fun to be this age to be able to go on YouTube and go back and look at what the fuck was going on and what people gave money to. Like Siegfried and Roy is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I went and I just watched their final performance, and let's look at a little bit of it because it's truly amazing. So I've already fast forwarded to 2 minutes in because this is the Siegfried and Roy show, I guess. This very slow, it's almost miming. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's very slow, wearing masks and do symbolic things like lighting a fire and then closing the casket on the fire. Like, this is what the show was. This was Siegfried and Roy. This is what Vegas paid billions of dollars for. These like vague, I guess that's a magic trick. I guess. I don't. But like, I mean, this is making Chris Angel and people like that, I'm starting to gain respect for them because of just the amount of energy they're putting into it. Whatever this Siegfried and Roy stuff is, they're not doing anything. Like, it's taking so long to, I mean, I'm just going to have to keep fast forwarding this. Everything is taking so long, and this is after his injury, so there's a reason there's even more slow, I guess, than normal. But either way, I had no idea that their show was this type of pointless pageantry with a slight illusion every once in a while. They'll go, look, that's not my leg. It's so weird. And then eventually they just show a tiger. You know, that was their other thing, is tigers. But like, I just assumed they were doing tricks or like jumping over tigers or doing crazy stuff like a circus maybe would. But all they do is they just show, they'll rip the curtain up and go, here's a tiger. And you look at it. Like this is like the 20s and we're supposed to go like, what the? A tiger, but it's white? There's no way that's possible. It's not humanly, there's no way. There's no way to get a tiger to be white because tigers are orange. A tiger. I mean, I can't believe this is what they were paid for all these years. This is hilarious. And there, I went down the rabbit hole, like I said. Like they met each other like working in some type of German army in like the 30s or some shit, something crazy, and started doing magic together on a ship. It all sounds quite odd. It sounds like they might have been working for the bad boys for a while, and they go, I don't know how to hide my past. And they go, let's just say we were magicians. Let's just say we were two gay magicians on a boat in Germany that worked for the army. And America goes, absolutely. But you're going to Vegas. You're going to the freak zone, baby. It is wild. I guess Vegas sucked so bad back then. Like, I'm trying to imagine, because like you'd have to pay me a lot to go to Vegas now. It really is like a hellish nightmare for someone like me. But like, imagine how bad Vegas was in like the 70s and 80s. Like, if this is the height of what they had, is people doing like mime work and showing you one animal in a cage. Imagine. I mean, no wonder that town is full of debauchery. If this was the height of entertainment, was like, these two fucking losers are going to do a play and then they're going to show us their pet. I would do drugs and I'd do anything to escape that too. Maybe that's how they drive their industries in Vegas, is like I don't know, maybe they're creating such horrific acts that it forces you to drink and have sex with prostitutes. You're like, I have to get this out of my system. The disgustingness of Siegfried and Roy or Carrot Top or whatever they're showing there makes you go like, God damn it. And then you start getting fucked up. It's a survival technique in Vegas. Okay, that's enough of Siegfried and Roy. But there's so many things like that I know through The Simpsons, and I'm a Simpsons fan for life. I mean, it's not good now, but like in its height was like, it was the cultural touchstone for everything for me at least, and those those seasons still hold up. This is also probably a well-worn podcast topic of which seasons of The Simpsons are the important ones, which ones matter, which ones count. It's like people with bands when they're like, well, these albums don't count because that's later on in their career. The only albums that count are the ones that I like, and that makes them a good artist. Okay, what's going on? Let's move it. I was just thinking this because every time I open my phone, if you listen to this show a lot, you know this. Every time I open my phone, I become enraged because of social media, because you're seeing something that's enraging for whatever reason. And I just thought of it's so interesting that social media is it is like the television, but you don't get to choose the channel, which is like going backwards. Like the reason we had channels and networks on TV is to locate the things you do want to see. But if you turn on the TV and you had no choice over whatever you're seeing, that is what social media is, and it's just great. You're just like, I'm going to kill someone. I don't want to watch these 12-year-old white girls rapping and doing rap hands and going. You guys can't see I'm doing the rap hands. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the hand movements that you must do to prove that you are indeed rapping. And to maybe remember what you're saying, are they like spelling out, this is this, and then this is this, and then first line, then this, then this, and this. I don't know. All right, let's keep tally. This is the first time I got to blow my nose during the show. And we got to keep it in because I don't want to edit this. I don't have time to edit, okay? So we got to keep in the farts. We got to keep in everything. Everything that happens here is we got to keep it in. I can't let these timelines get off with the audio and the video. I'm a one-man operation here, you guys. But anyway, social media, it's hell. It's hell on earth. I mean, when I look at stuff, and let's just look at this. Check this out. I mean, this is what the internet is showing me and showing you. And I was never meant to see this. If I turned on the TV, I would never search for whatever this is. And it just makes me think I don't know. I mean, is this what the world is? Like the world, and I'm not, no offense, but this person is clearly retarded. I mean that specifically not as a slanderous or derogatory way. This person, I believe, is mentally retarded. Maybe not, but choosing to be on TikTok to me means that. It means that there's something mentally off with you if you're putting yourself out there in any sincere way on any social media, I guess, but TikTok especially is just it attracts, or it creates pain. It creates pain in this world. And that's what the majority of people are that. The majority of people are this type of semi-disabled person that's taking their shirt off and dancing and doesn't know. It's not about whether they know the joke's on them. They don't know there's a joke in the world. They're not here. They should not have been given this technology to film themselves. This doesn't make sense. This is chronically abusive, actually. Handing the world recording devices and the ability to upload it online is criminal. There should be screening tests for if you're allowed to even talk on the phone. Are you allowed to communicate with more than the 5 people you can see in your surrounding area? You should have to apply for that. I think we should be going full Minority Report, okay, guys? That's my belief system, is that we need to be controlled. Absolutely. We need eyes on us at all times. There needs to be visual cameras in every single, not in every room, on every item in the world. Anything someone could sneak behind, they're going to masturbate behind that thing. Or they're going to molest, or whatever they're going to do. They're going to do something bad. So I believe we do need the Minority Report to come into fruition and to save us. I don't know. It's all insanity. It's all crazy. I want to say this too about TikTok. I have a theory about TikTok. Because TikTok originated in China, as we all know. It existed there for, I think, 3 years before it became called TikTok and moved to America. Something like that. So basically, but the point is, it was clearly not only invented there, but the algorithms were developed there by the users there. And so when I see, when I see anything on TikTok that makes its way upstream to the other apps and stuff, when I see what people are doing, which is, dancing or doing vaudevillian, Charlie Chaplin-esque, face quick dancing, doodle-doodle-dee, face morphing, face talking, silly, sped up, weird, obnoxious things, to me, I'm thinking, I have this theory now, guys. I'm thinking that China was so locked up and suppressed and isolated from the rest of the world for so long, and they still, you could still argue that governmentally speaking, they are quite suppressed and oppressed, but they're so isolated in this way where I feel like the arts of the 30s, 40s, 20s, that stuff is only recently made its way into China. So like they are copying Charlie Chaplin, literally. They're seeing vaudevillian things, and that's what's influencing them. I mean, that's what's their current state of media potentially. This is all again hypothetical, guys. This is not. I have not proven this, but I believe this to be absolutely true. So I think that they're just getting influenced by that old art because that's all they're allowed to have. You know what I mean? Like they're not allowed to have porn over there. Dancing sexy or even dancing cutesy, like whatever TikTok is, whatever that stuff is, that's as sexy as you can get in China. And I'm serious about. That I know. I mean, these are culturally speaking, that's as dirty as you can get. So that's what they're gonna do. Okay, so like to them, that's like porn. They're having a great time. They're doing modern comedy, which is Charlie Chaplin, and modern pornography, which is wrist dancing and slight knee movement. And so it's almost like we get the app. America gets the app 3 years after that, and it's like our kids then get influenced and are doing the trends and things that are algorithmically working. So it's almost like we are getting refed our old shit from the 50 or from earlier than that, the 40, whenever the vaudeville world, whenever Chaplin and film looked sped up because of the frame rate, we're like getting refed that in a new format. We're in a snake eating its own tail scenario, and I think it's hilarious. And I mean, the trends enrage me. Of course, I don't understand it, but I think maybe it's that. What do you guys think? Is this absolutely scientifically completely accurate the way I believe it to be? Who knows? Another thought I had. These are, I guess, stoner thoughts. These are they'll be the segment stoner thoughts. Again, groundbreaking ideas for podcasts. But I just had this thought the other day of it was kind of about the trap rap or whatever the rappers that are literally killing people nowadays. The young rappers that like to kill. I think a lot of people, the general thought is like, well, you're successful. Why would you throw that away and go to jail? That's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb, guys. But I was thinking like, or I guess I was just reminded of the original gangster rap back in the 90s. And it just made me think of, isn't it more weird that someone in a gang back then, before gangster rap existed, someone in a gang, or multiple people in gangs that were killing people, drug trafficking, doing whatever they want, horrible sex crimes, and then one of them goes, you know what we should do? Music. And then the other guys somehow didn't kill him, and they go, enough of them go, I always wanted to sing I always wanted to record my own songs. Like, isn't that more crazy that people were in gangs shooting Uzis out their car windows, and then they go, but what if I made a song? What if I thought about a verse and then a chorus and maybe, put these things together and made an incredibly catchy song? Like, that's crazier to me. That's the actual lineage of it. That people like stumbled into creating music is very funny to me. It's like someone at war in Vietnam or someone at war somewhere. Like, how could that roll over? How could shooting people roll over into wanting to write songs? I don't know, but it happened, and that's America. It's the beauty of this land. Okay, we got to bring it home. So let's talk about this. I've been meaning to talk about this, or maybe I already have talked about it. I don't remember. But there is a show. I thought it's one of these YouTube shows, one of these British shows that gets thrown onto YouTube, like 7 years of a series will be up there. It's like Only Human or one of these My Freaky Ear or something, like My Unbelievable Habit. Whenever those shows, those early 2000s shows get thrown up. But there was one that got thrown up. It was like SBS Australia, some Australian show. And this is the funniest and most disturbing thing I've ever seen. The show is, what's it called? It's called like Look Me in the Eye, or so, I don't know. But the whole premise of the show is you go to someone with trauma and they sit you down and you don't speak, you just stare at each other in the eyes. You just look at each other directly in the eyes. They film it, tears will happen, and it's supposed to be healing is what happens, is the intent of this concept. But Australia, I don't know what they were thinking. They got a little too heavy here. And so they have an episode that is titled Former Child Soldier Confronts His Torturer. And I'm not sure what land this is in. Let's see. It is called Look Me in the Eye. It's hilarious. Okay, in South Sudan is where this episode takes place. And so they have this guy who's a grown-up now who used to be tortured literally by a child soldier who was tortured, whipped, sexually abused in every way possible, forced to kill people. Classic not South Africa, just Africa, somewhere Africa. Classic somewhere Africa stuff. And, horrific. It's the worst of the worst as far as, like, how could any human ever have lived through that? But so this guy lives, and I guess he applied to the show, or I don't know how it happened. But anyways, they find his torturer, the man, the grown-up who would capture children in South Sudan and take them from their parents and put them in these prison camps and beat them, drug them, rape them, force them to kill people, force them to be child soldiers, force them to do meth. The worst of the worst. Found this guy, and I don't know why this guy was willing to do this show, but they do this show. They sit these two men down, and the child who was tortured, who's now a grown man, he is crying the whole time. Of course, he's looking at the face of the man who destroyed his life. And here's this is why it's a This World Blows kind of topic, I suppose, or I don't know what you'd call it. But this is why I had to bring it here, is because the torturer, he don't care. He does not give a shit because he's not a human. Like there is, I've talked about this before in the show too. There is, I believe there's two classes of humans. There's sharks and then there's humans. There's people that have human feelings that if they see another human get hit in the head with a baseball bat, they at least wince because they can't help but know what that could feel like. But there's the shark humans that are the torturers, that are the CEOs, that are people that are fine with stealing your money, people that are fine with rape. The people that they literally don't feel it. They don't feel anything about it. It's not like they're suppressing their feelings. They don't feel anything. And so that's why the show was trying to prove, like, no, we could get through to people. No, we could fix things. But they re-traumatized this guy by him showing up and seeing the guy. He has no regrets. He doesn't give a shit. He looked at him in the face and says, I don't care. And then they take him off into other rooms, and the guy that was tortured, is like freaking out because he's like, he can't believe this guy doesn't even feel any remorse for this, which he doesn't. And then they have him sit in the room again and try it again and try talking, and it gets even worse because the guy just says, I don't regret it. I don't care. I don't feel anything. And that's that's the world, you guys. Like, the truth is, you got to kill the sharks. You got to kill the rats. You got to kill those fiends. It would have been a much better show if they gave him the chance to apologize, but they don't know there's a dual ending here. And if you don't show some humanity, you didn't read the fine print. We get to shoot you in the head. We get to take you out of the world. I think that would be a great twist for a show. I think it would be the most fulfilling thing. Like, it's a beautiful amount of injustice this world has. And that's why the show is called This World Blows. We are living in a horrible, horrible place, and we're just distracting ourselves with pleasures like Snickers and Cheetos. But we're living in hell, folks. We're living in hell. And I'm just here trying to make it a little bit better for you, the listener. I guess that's going to be it. Just in time for the theme song. Absolutely perfected. That was episode 172 of This World Blows with your host and me. Check back next time, guys. Check us out on Spotify and all the other things. You know the drill. Bye. Bye.